moment I started to focus on my sleep, I was able to be successful and happy. So are those people up at the top happy and successful, or just successful? Because that's the key that we're looking for here.
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mattman, Sir Capes-a-lot. I'm the comfortable Cape Crusader, and I fight the things that keep you up at night. Welcome to our first ever video podcast, video blog, of the adventures of Mattman. I'll if you haven't heard me say it before, this is my credo. Are you ready?
I'm ready. By
the power of the pillow, the might of the mattress, and the surety of the sheets, I've got your game plan for better sleep so you can fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and get the good night's rest you deserve. Sleep like a superhero so you can be awake like one and see what you are capable of. I am the resident sleep superhero with the Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture Dream Team of Lake Norman. The Dream Team kicks butt. We're just north of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm also part of Fam Crew, fam.news, where you can get furniture, appliance, and mattress industry info, intelligence, some great marketing ideas. There's a ton of podcasts like the Dos Marcos. There's, I think there's other video episode stuff of independent marketing retailer things. And there's articles by Alex Milstein. So it's just awesome. There's great people there. So head over to the fam.news to see what's going on. You want to stand out in your local market? It's a great place to start. And today, I'm joined with my buddy, Zach Moore.
How's it going, everybody?
Dude, are you fired up,
man?
Zach?
I'm fired up.
How'd you sleep last night?
I slept pretty good. I clocked it. I went to bed at 10:51.
Oh.
And I woke up at 6:55.
That's like a full 8 hours?
8 hours, 4 minutes.
And you have a small child.
Yeah. So we can get into that maybe a little later, but we've had some success on that front. Now my wife is still, she's
waking up.
She twice a night, yeah. 11 o'clock. Well, she's not waking up at 11. She's staying up until 11 to feed, and then 3 a.m. to nurse.
Wow.
But I shouldn't say only. I don't want to sound like I'm taking away from what she does. But nursing takes 10 minutes.
Okay.
So, but I mean, at 3 a.m., it's hard to get up for 10 minutes.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. Not taking anything away from her.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm glad I asked. So, in case for any of the people out there, Zach, you have a background you're a marketing professional, and for the last 8-ish years, you said you've been specializing in helping independent retailers, smaller businesses.
Yeah. So just really helping the Davids versus the Goliaths, right? So that any of your small retailers in your market across the USA. So if they sell mattresses, furniture, appliances, chances are I've talked to them. I've tried to help them out against the big box stores and the online retailers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the office of Mattman. So we sit here. It's beautiful. We have coffee, but I can't actually. Oh. Whoa.
I lost you for a second.
Technical dip. Welcome to the office of Mattman. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. Great.
Can we edit?
Well, I'm not sure if I can pull Starbucks up on. Yes, we can.
Oh.
I can absolutely splice things off too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, Zach, welcome.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So
happy to be here.
We hang out. We have adult beverages in the evening, and you're always asking me like, dude, I saw something online and, saw something and this is what it said about sleep. What do you think? And we're never in the right spot because I'm having beers and I'm not wearing the mat suit at all.
Yeah. And you're never really tired of talking about sleep, but
no, that is one thing I do not get tired to do. So we brought you in here to bring the internet lulls.
Yes.
To the people.
Yeah. Try.
We're going to try.
Yeah. So if we just want to jump right in.
Tell me what you found. Where's it at? What's it about?
So this is University of South Florida.
Okay.
And they put out an article that was called Drama, Llama, or Sleep Deprived. New study uncovers how consistent sleep loss impacts mental and physical well-being. And a lot of what they talk about is how, first, only a third of the United States citizens, or people in the U.S., get at least 6 hours of sleep.
Okay.
And then that it takes 3 consecutive nights of sleep to cause, 3 consecutive nights of sleep loss to cause physical and mental well-being to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting to talk about because, when we think about some of the most successful people in, I would say, the world, they are always the ones who say like, oh, I get, 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep, right? Like you talk to any major CEO, you talk to an Elon Musk, a Donald Trump, Barack Obama, whoever it is, right? Mark Zuckerberg, and they're all saying like they're not, oh, I wake up, I sleep from midnight until 4 a.m. and then I'm on the horn with China and I'm working through all this stuff, right? So it's just interesting for these articles to say like, are they just built differently? Is there a different genome that they have that they can just run on such little sleep? It's crazy.
Well, so you're saying like that what makes them successful is they spend more time awake doing stuff?
I mean, I would say that that's what they say the reason that they're more successful.
Oh.
Because I think lack of sleep is something a lot of people like to brag about, right? Oh, you slept 8 hours. I only slept 4. And here I am at work today. So I'm more important to be at work at 8 a.m. than you are because I'm on less sleep.
That's like old school, let's sacrifice. I'm going to sacrifice my sleep and my body for success.
Yeah.
I'm calling pillow pupper poop on that.
Pillar pupper poop.
Pillow pupper poop.
Yeah.
That's the only way I could say dog
doo-doo.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was laughing, so I got to read this article, and I made the note on here. Let's look at this. Oh man, I'll take off my. Woo! So that said,
get your readers on.
Because the average, what science has told us is that 7.5 hours to maybe 9 is what you actually need.
Sure.
So, but if your average is high, then great. Your average of 7.5 is good. But only a third of Americans getting 6+ hours of sleep on a night means that 2/3 of America actually gets 6 hours or less on a giant portion of it. So that's like a ton of sleep cycles lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you start to add up like how much that is, now you can qualify why the energy drink industry is like the tune of like $14 billion.
Sure.
Or because you got 100-something million people who literally get 6 or less hours of sleep. So your average has to be really high.
Right.
And if you're only shooting for 6+, your average is going to be at least 6 or lower, which is terrible.
But it's just, like I was saying, if you talk to anyone, and I'm making a generalization here, but I would expect that those in the upper echelons, millionaire class, whatever you want to say, they're all saying you don't need that much sleep.
Who's that? The Mrs. Huffington, the Huffington Post lady.
Uh-huh.
She had written the book of like, okay, like I was being successful, I was burning myself out, dragging myself all over the place doing stuff. And the moment I started to focus on my sleep, I was able to be successful and happy.
Mm.
So are those people up at the top happy and successful, or just successful? Because that's the key that we're looking for here.
Sure.
If you're gonna go there and you're gonna be successful, do you want to get there and be exhausted so you can't experience what wealth does for you? Like, are you gonna go to the beach to like recover for a week or two?
Yeah.
And then go back to the slog and so but then if you're successful and you've slept really good, now you're like, oh great, I'm enjoying my daily grind. I'm grinding my daily grind.
Yeah.
That's the mentality I have when I read an article like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's hard. There's sleep is the sacrifice for some people for economic, gain, right? And
Yeah.
even outside of the examples that I gave for those upper echelon people, you have everyday folks like you and myself who might have to work multiple jobs, right? be multiple places at once. And we'll start to get into that even more in a next episode. But it's just hard to not be like the one thing I can sacrifice is sleep, right?
Well, but that's just it. If that's the one
Seems
thing
easy to sacrifice, is that's what I'm trying to say.
But if you don't sacrifice it, the other things are amplified, like 100%. So if you're not sacrificing your sleep, your 2 jobs that you work, you're going to be more effective at getting them done, or maybe getting from point A to point B. It's like connecting the dots with a faster pen, or maybe a thicker line. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Why do you think so many people do sacrifice sleep outside of like job?
Sure.
Let's just say like you work one job, you've got a family, and other than like, dude, parents get a shaft on this. Like it's terrible. Like like you said, like you have sleep interruptions. Like the kids don't sleep all night, even when they're young and the wife is doing breastfeeding and stuff. Now, when they're a little bit older, they're screaming, they're wetting the bed sometimes, and then as they get older, now they don't come home on time, and you're still staying up. So parents definitely get the raw end of this deal. But like, let's just say all those distractions aside, why don't people get more than 6 hours of sleep every night?
I think it's I think there's like a want to stay awake, right? Because in the waking world, like there is more fun things to do, I guess, or there's more distractions, your phone, video games, movies, going out to a bar, going to see somebody, whatever those things are. There's definitely more distractions in the waking world.
Yeah.
Your future self, that's a problem for future Zach. Like he'll deal with the sleep loss tomorrow, right? Like I'm
not riding the struggle bus.
Right.
Future Zach's riding the struggle bus.
Yeah. And then I had something else to say.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Which do you think came first? Sleep or awake?
Well, sleep.
Yeah.
I would say.
That's that. Well, there's no, chicken or the egg. Nobody actually knows. But Matthew Walker wrote the book Why We Sleep.
Yeah.
And in this book, he says, man, I wonder why we ever became awake. Because the benefits of sleep are so life-prolonging. They're so effective for our brains that the act of waking up is actually what brings us to our mortal coil, like closer to that mortal coil, jumping off of it. So it's like, why did we ever wake up? If we were just like sleep beings, we might be like indefinite beings.
Yeah.
Because that's, your body's equalizing. It's doing all the stuff. It's cleaning out junk. It's a machine, so there's waste. So that's when it comes, the waste gets cleaned out. So he's just like, wow, why did we ever awake? And now that we are awake, we don't want to go back to bed. But that's where all you have to have that symbiotic relationship. Otherwise, you actually spend less time being awake, or you are less aware while you're awake, which is. Like if I was to say like, okay, tomorrow you're gonna have the most fun experience of your life, but we're gonna stay up really late, so you're exhausted through the most fun experience of your life.
Right.
Is it now the most fun experience of your life?
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. Yeah. I think it's just FOMO hits everybody. We're born with the fear of missing out. I mean, you go into anybody's house that has kids who are the age of 0 to probably, let's say, 12. And I mean, bedtime's hard. And it's not like they haven't done it before.
Right.
It's not like they just did it yesterday. And I don't want to get off on because that always blew my mind, right? Like I have a 9-month-old son. So I kind of give him a pass, right?
Yeah.
Because his cognitive ability, I don't really know what he is conscious of or not, right? I would say going to bed at night and having that be somewhat of a surprise to him, I'll give him a pass. But, my 6-year-old niece, it's just crazy how bedtime, we just did this 24 hours ago. You didn't know you were going to have to brush your teeth. You didn't know, but it's once you're in that moment and you're living for the present, like a child really does. I mean, they're in it to be, I'm here until the party ends, right? They're in the present. I think it's really hard you see sleep as the enemy. You see sleep as the thing that's like, no, and especially, I mean, we're shooting this around the holidays. A lot of people are getting together in their homes.
Yeah.
It's really hard, especially when you have people who are traveling that you haven't seen in a really long time. So you want to say, okay, on my deathbed, right, I'm going to be thinking about all these great experiences that I had. So if I sleep less, I can have more experiences, right? Like if instead of going to sleep, I go out to the movie with my friends, or instead of, getting a good night's sleep, and even though I have to travel 6 hours tomorrow for work, if this is our one free day at work, so we're gonna go make the most of it and stay up till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You just feel like you're making more of your day and you're doing more meaningful things than sleeping, because you have the FOMO, the fear of missing out, right?
You definitely do. Now, check this out. The what you sent me was off of Reddit.
Yeah.
It was off of R Science,
Yeah.
which is a subreddit. In case anybody doesn't know what Reddit is got it's basically a website full of these topics, and each subreddit is a topic. So in this case, it's science, and they post articles that are put up for peer review. Sometimes they're kind of bunk, sometimes they're not. And this one was like medium, I'd say, when I was looking at some of the sources. However, the comments, like when I you ever go to somewhere online and the first thing you do is, after you read some like inflammatory headline, the first thing I want to do is go to the comments to see what the funniest thing somebody could say about a topic was. In this case, though, it actually wasn't that funny. Sleep apnea came up from like the first 4 top comments, and then when you hit this little button to scroll to the next comment, on one of them, like it was just like, so like someone had said something about sleep apnea that then just jumped into like 400 million conversations. It took the phone 4 or 5 seconds to scroll through all that, which is amazing. So sleep apnea is one that's bad. And on day 3, the article explains, on day 3 of your sleep loss or your sleep deficit, as that grows, upper respiratory things are actually what you're vulnerable to, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like upper respiratory and gastrointestinal issues really start to get bad. Plus, feelings of loneliness and anger is what the article explains. But then here are all these people who say before their snuffleupagus thing, their sleep apnea device, the CPAP.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were, angry and bitter with the world.
Yeah.
But then they changed it. They flipped it around with the CPAP. Another comment was this, like RNs and people going through medical training. They're super vulnerable because they work 80+ hour weeks. Their sleep schedules are not predictable at all. Those people are supposed to be taking care of us. You trust them.
Yeah.
I trust them.
Yeah.
But
if you found out that they, if you went into surgery and you found out your surgeon had only gotten 3 hours of sleep because last night there was a car accident that he had to be brought into at 3 a.m. and then he did that surgery at 3 a.m. and then he went back home, and then now you got surgery at 6:30. If you found out that combined he slept 5 hours, I mean, would you want him playing around in your chest?
And so here's another comment. This one's like, I work afternoon and I need to go to sleep right after getting home so I can do dad stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
I can never get to sleep, and I never end up falling asleep until 2 a.m. Most nights I'm up between 7 and 8. I'm no longer a patient man. I'm angry real quick, and I can't problem solve. My memory sucks. I forget what my last meal was. I don't smile much anymore, and I'm exhausted from the second I wake up until I finally shut my brain down and sleep.
Damn.
And I understand this study. Sad face is his little emoji.
Yeah, that's sad.
That is sad because
really
he's got to be a
sad.
dad.
Sure.
So but you don't enjoy those years of growth of your family.
Yeah.
Because you're exhausted. But I think he's also, when I read something like that, if he gets home from work late in the afternoon and he goes to bed right away, he's probably taking that afternoon nap to try to do something. He's off on his circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm goes up and down and up and down. So likely he gets a nap in, and then his body, and that relieves some of the sleep pressure in your brain with the hormones, and now he can't fall asleep till 2 a.m. So he's got to like right the ship on that, which might take a day or two on the struggle bus.
What are your thoughts on naps?
I mean, you go for it. I mean, if you're tired, you got to.
You feel like you're okay with people taking naps.
I think if you were going to drive a car
Uh-huh.
and you were exhausted,
Uh-huh.
if you took a nap beforehand, great. Or if you pull over and take a nap. But I'm not going to tell you not to take a nap because you're tired. You probably ought to do that. That shouldn't stop you from going to bed at the same time that night, though, and even maybe lying there awake for a while,
Yeah.
trying to meditate or go to bed, because you have to continue to have the habit of going to bed on time. So if you take a nap and you oversleep in that nap, and then you're like, well, I'm up till 2, so I'm not going to bed till like 2 o'clock or something, then you're undoing the habit of actually getting to bed. So it's tricky.
Yeah.
But if you're tired, sleep.
I just think it's funny that we've been talking about sleep sacrifice, right? But everyone always is like, people, and I'm not saying that this guy is volunteering to stay awake that late or anything, but there's definitely people out there who are like on their phone before they're going to bed and doing all the wrong things, right? But then they're also those are the same people that would be like, oh man, if I could just take a nap right now. It's just like naps and sleep are two different. Like people view them as two separate things. People are like really nap positive,
Yeah.
and like sleep negative.
Nap positive, sleep negative.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up.
No.
I just
No.
feel like you always hear people wanting to take naps,
But not wanting to go.
but then at the same time they might brag, oh, I only got 4 hours. And it's not a brag. It's not them coming in and strutting their stuff and be like, ugh, who only got 4 hours of sleep last night? This guy. It's more of like the like, oh, you think you've got it so bad. Let me hit you with my, I don't even know what you call that. It's like the opposite of a brag. It's like you don't have it as bad as me. I don't know what that's called.
Well, we're running low on time, so to wrap this up, I'd say after reading a lot more of the comments, things like sleep apnea, things like someone else was saying, they were even in a relationship where the person was intentionally interrupting their sleep because it was an abusive relationship, and that once they got out of it, their quality of life increased.
I mean, sleep deprivation is a form of torture in other countries.
That is actually a form of torture.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So then that's even to put the emphasis on you can't do that for multiple nights in a row. One night is okay.
Sure.
If there's a party, I'm going to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm I'll even make my plan to stay up later up to a party, so I'm not going from like 9:30 to 1 a.m. on a whim. But then that's just it. Like you gotta, like I try to make a game plan for my sleep. I try to write down my bedtime and plan out my week so that if I know if a party's coming, it's not just like shocking the system and setting me off and for like days of just like struggle bus.
Yeah.
If I'm riding the struggle bus, it is for 4 hours the day after a party, and then I'm off the struggle bus. I'm hitting the sack that night, and the next day, the suit's back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what do you think? There's going to be another party. We got to get ready for the next party.
Sure. Well, there'll always be more parties.
Do you like parties?
I do like parties.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I love parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was once known as the party king of Southern Oklahoma.
So the party king of Southern Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're smiling, but like there's stories behind there. We'll get to them one day. But hey, thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you enjoyed our discussion of sleep, which is actually more of a discussion of being awake.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what being a sleep superhero is all about. So, but yeah, until next time, guys, try to get a good night's rest.